For decades, fans have wondered, what really destroyed the Bangles? How did one of the most talented female bands of the era implode at the height of their success? And why did rumors about Susanna Hoffs dominate the band's narrative long after they split? Now, at 67, Vicki Peterson has finally broken her silence. And what she reveals about those turbulent years changes everything. The Bangles began in 1981, founded in Los Angeles by Vicki Peterson, Debbie Peterson, and Susanna Hoffs. Originally called the Bangs, they were forced to switch to the Bangles due to a copyright dispute, a small change that did nothing to stop their rapid rise. Their sound blended 60s-inspired harmonies with punk-influenced pop rock, immediately setting them apart. Their vocals, shaped by influences like the Beatles and the Beach Boys, became their signature. The mid-1980s turned them into global stars. In 1986, Prince's Manic Monday shot to #2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and soon after, Walk Like an Egyptian became a worldwide craze, holding the top spot for 4 straight weeks. Vicki Peterson's jangle pop guitar and songwriting helped define the band's identity, while Susanna Hoffs, with her warm voice and magnetic stage presence, became the most recognizable member. Her emotional delivery on Eternal Flame pushed the song to #1 across multiple countries, turning it into one of the decade's most iconic ballads. Their success reshaped the role of women in rock. Countless artists, from Haim to Taylor Swift, would later cite the Bangles as inspirations for their independence, musicianship, and style. Yet, as their fame grew, so did the pressure. In 1989, at the height of their success, the band abruptly announced their breakup, leaving fans stunned and confused. Rumors spread quickly, creative differences, industry pressures, and an uncomfortable spotlight that increasingly centered on Susanna Hoffs. Even Susanna later admitted, "We were like sisters, loving but fiercely competitive." Behind the glossy music videos and perfect harmonies, artistic tensions between her and Vicki Peterson had quietly been building, revealing the complicated dynamics that ultimately fractured one of the era's most beloved bands. Differences in musical direction. From the moment the Bangles first rehearsed in Debbie Peterson's Los Angeles garage in 1981, their identity was rooted in raw garage rock, gritty, unpolished, and full of attitude. Vicki Peterson's sharp, distorted guitar and Debbie's forceful drumming channeled the spirit of 60s girl groups like the Ronettes and the Shangri-Las, mixing harmony with a rebellious edge. "We wanted to be an 80s version of them, strong, free-spirited, unapologetic," Vicki later told Mojo magazine. Everything shifted when Susanna Hoffs joined. Fresh out of UCLA with an art degree and a deep love of polished pop, she brought a more refined musical sensibility. Her soft, captivating voice and meticulous approach to melody added a new layer to the band's sound. "Susanna had an exceptional ear," Debbie explained in Women Who Rock. "She worked from emotion and melody, not raw power. That contrast, garage grit versus pop sophistication, eventually collided during the making of Different Light in 1986. According to Sheila Weller's Girls Like Us, tensions peaked the day Vicki heard the demo for Manic Monday. She reportedly threw her guitar down in frustration. "This isn't who we are," she argued. "It's too polished, too pop." Vicki wanted to preserve the band's original spirit, the driving, self-written songs like Hero Takes a Fall and James. Meanwhile, Susanna Hoffs held firmly to her vision. "Music has to evolve," she argued. "Why limit ourselves when we can reach a wider audience?" She spent countless hours trying to persuade the others that working with major songwriters like Prince or Elvis Costello didn't erase their identity. It expanded it. But when Manic Monday turned into a global smash, criticism quickly followed. Spin questioned whether the Bangles were losing their rock soul, while Lisa Robinson of Cream wrote that they were sliding toward background music for shopping malls. The backlash hit Vicki Peterson hardest. In Women Who Rock, She recalled looking in the mirror after a session and thinking, "I didn't recognize myself anymore." She felt as if the band had shifted from passionate musicians to cogs in a machine built for polished hits. What unfolded wasn't a fight about right or wrong. It was a collision of two artistic philosophies, one fiercely protective of their garage rock roots, the other eager to explore broader, more melodic territory. Ironically, that very tension was part of what made the Bangles so compelling. But the musical divide between Vicki Peterson and Susanna Hoffs was only the beginning. As their fame exploded, a more troubling question emerged. Why was the media so determined to turn a four-woman band into a story about one star? And could that very bias have deepened the fractures already forming within the group, the controversy over the spotlight? When the media creates a single star. When Eternal Flame exploded in 1989, the Bangles reached the height of their fame, but the success came with a price. Almost overnight, the media shifted its focus entirely onto Susanna Hoffs. Magazines like People and US Weekly placed her on their covers with headlines such as "The New Face of the Bangles" and "Pop Rock's Latest Queen." What the public saw as celebration felt inside the band like erasure. Debbie Peterson later admitted in Mojo magazine, "There were moments when we felt like background musicians. Interviews became Susanna's monologues while the rest of us faded into the scenery." Rolling Stone echoed this sentiment in 1989, noting that the media had begun crafting a Hollywood version of Susanna Hoffs, ignoring the Bangles as a collective of four artists. Vicki Peterson expressed her frustration plainly in a Los Angeles Times interview. "We've always been a four-person band. When the spotlight narrows to one face, the rest of the work gets dismissed." Even fans were divided. Fanzines like Bangalonia became battlegrounds where debates raged. One reader wrote, "Susanna is amazing, but without Vicki's guitar, the Bangles wouldn't be the Bangles." Susanna herself later acknowledged in her 2015 memoir, This Will End in Tears, that the attention she received unintentionally hurt the others, not by choice, but because the industry preferred a single marketable star over a unified group. Critics later pointed out that this wasn't just a Bangles issue, but a reflection of a wider problem in the 1980s and 1990s music industry. Female bands were often forced into having one face, while male bands were viewed as collectives. Producers, driven by marketing, amplified the problem by placing Susanna front and center in videos and promotional material. In the end, the spotlight didn't just illuminate the Bangles' success. It cast long shadows that reshaped their relationships and fueled rumors for decades. And fans have always wondered, behind the scenes, how did they really feel about one another? When the insiders finally speak out, for more than 30 years, Vicki Peterson and Susanna Hoffs have repeated the same message. Their tensions were born from artistic clashes, not personal grudges. In the 2011 Epix documentary Women Who Rock, Vicki appeared tired but honest when she said, "We argued because we cared. Susanna always wanted to experiment, and I was determined to protect the Bangles' rock identity. It was never personal." Susanna echoed this in her 2018 Billboard interview celebrating the 35th anniversary of Different Light. She pointed to Hero Takes a Fall, a song the two co-wrote, as proof of their unusual chemistry. Vicki's raw, rebellious guitar blended with the pop melody I brought in. Only the Bangles could make that happen. When we wrote together, we always found balance, even through the friction. But behind the professionalism were old wounds. In her 2015 memoir, This Will End in Tears, Susanna confessed to carrying real guilt. "Being labeled the face of the band weighed on me. I knew why Vicki felt frustrated. She had every right. I just couldn't control how the media portrayed me." Vicki, for her part, accepted her own missteps. On a 2019 episode of the Origins podcast, she admitted, "Jealousy clouded my judgment. Susanna didn't do anything wrong. She just took the chances presented to her. The real problem was the media. They always want a single star instead of a team. The other Bangles members saw this dynamic from their own angles. Debbie Peterson told Rolling Stone in 2014, "Vicki is the cool head, Susanna is the warm heart. Their clashes strained us at times, but they also sparked incredible music." Annette Zelinskas put it even more bluntly in an interview with Ugly Things in 2018. In an all-female band in the 80s, being pitted against each other was unavoidable. What matters is that they survived it. The Bangles come back. A journey of healing. Nearly a decade after their breakup, the Bangles' 1998 reunion didn't happen overnight. It grew quietly, the result of 4 women finally maturing past old wounds. The spark came in the fall of 1997 when Susanna Hoffs called Vicki Peterson to discuss recording a track for Pleasant Dreams, a John Lennon tribute album. "I remember saying, 'I think we should do this together,'" Susanna later told Billboard in 2003. To her surprise, Vicki agreed without hesitation. Their first rehearsal in 9 years took place in a small Los Angeles studio. The tension they feared never materialized. Instead, the moment they started playing In My Life, the old chemistry returned as if no time had passed. Rolling Stone praised the track on the 1998 tribute album, noting that the band played with the cohesion of musicians who had never been apart. But the true turning point came at producer David Kane's 50th birthday party. As Susanna recounted in her memoir, This Will End in Tears, the band ended up performing Walk Like an Egyptian on a tiny stage for a room full of friends, and instantly felt the joy they'd been missing for years. They looked at one another and realized they wanted this back. In May 1998, the Bangles officially announced their reunion through a press release to the Los Angeles Times. "We're back for the music, and more importantly, for the friendship. The misunderstandings of the past are now valuable lessons." Their comeback album, Doll Revolution, 2003, marked a new era. For the first time, all 4 members shared songwriting and production responsibilities. "We've learned to respect each other's differences," Vicki Peterson told Guitar World. Fans embraced the album warmly, pushing it to number 82 on the Billboard 200 in its opening week. The 2000 to 2001 reunion tour became living proof of how far they had come. Michael Steele later told Bass Player magazine, "What moved me most was seeing Vicki and Susanna hug after every show. It wasn't for the cameras. It was real." Today, the Bangles' legacy endures not just because of the hits they created, but because of the relationship they rebuilt. As Vicki Peterson said during a 2019 talk at Berklee College of Music, "Music can pause, but true bonds never disappear. Separate paths, unbreakable bond." After their electrifying years with the Bangles, Vicki Peterson and Susanna Hoffs eventually followed different artistic paths. Yet the connection between them has never faded. Susanna Hoffs expanded her creativity beyond music, stepping into the world of literature with her debut novel, This Bird Has Flown, in April 2023. The book received warm praise from critics and readers alike. At the same time, she continued her musical journey with The Deep End, a covers album that highlights her versatility and her lifelong love for reinvention. Vicki Peterson, meanwhile, shifted her focus toward mentoring and production. She became a frequent presence at workshops, universities, and music academies, openly sharing the hard-earned lessons of her career. Alongside her sister Debbie, she revived their folk rock project, the Psycho Sisters. Their 2014 album Up on the Chair, Beatrice marked a long-awaited return for the duo after years away from the studio. Though their careers branched out, their friendship never wavered. In an interview on CBS Sunday Morning, Susanna said, "We still talk all the time about creative ideas, music, and even great books." They continue to collaborate on charitable music projects as well, including a Beatles tribute album organized by Musicares. Now in their 60s, both women have found a healthy balance between art and personal life. Susanna enjoys quiet days with her family in California, while Vicki delights in time spent with her grandchildren. They may not share the stage as often as they once did, but the influence they left on each other and on the music world remains unmistakable. Their story is not one defined by rumors or rivalry, but by a friendship that survived success, pressure, and change. In an industry often built on competition, Vicki Peterson and Susanna Hoffs proved something rare. When respect and affection run deep, both passion and friendship can thrive side by side. Their story is one of friction, growth, reconciliation, and ultimately, enduring respect. But now that the truth is finally out, what do you think? Were the rumors simply a creation of the media, or did they reveal deeper issues behind the Bangles' rise and fall? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy uncovering the real stories behind the icons you grew up with, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there's much more ahead. See you then.